Welkom van op het centercourt van Tour en Taxis voor een wel heel bijzondere podcast van Dubbelspel. De podcast uiteraard van Tennis en Padel Vlaanderen. Met Philippe de Wulf, zoals altijd. Proficiat, Philippe, dat je erbij bent vanochtend, want je hebt er een zware zaterdag op zitten.
Het viel al bij al wel mee, Dirk. Mijn stem klinkt nog een beetje zwaarder, maar ik heb mij professioneel gedragen, laat ons het zo stellen.
Dat is fantastisch. We hebben een fantastische gast en daarom ook dat we het vandaag in het Engels gaan doen. So we'll continue in English with our guest. Mauri Andrini, welcome in Tour and Taxis. And the first question, let's just look at the surrounding. Have you ever been to a more beautiful location for a padel event?
Welcome. Thank you very much, first of all, for counting with me for this amazing podcast. And I don't know. There are not many places in the world where you can go to a city center, the capital of the country, and coming to such an amazing place. You know, the stands going in very long direction backwards. So, and you could feel it because yesterday in the semifinals was the atmosphere you live here, and that helps a lot to the countries to really demonstrate what padel does. It's not only, that it's a nice sport, but also what you see when you come and watch the show, I would say.
Okay. I can call you Mauri, eh?
Yeah, Mauri.
Mauri, do you know Philippe? Have you ever heard about Philippe de Wulf?
No.
No?
No,
well,
I haven't.
Shame on you.
I haven't, unfortunately. Philippe, sorry, man.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
I'm just starting my padel career.
He's just starting his padel career, but he was the best tennis player we ever had. He played the semis at the French Open, Roland Garros. He won a couple of tournaments.
What do you mean long time ago? Where was with Jonas Björkman, for example, in Sweden?
I played against him.
I think you
That's
beat
the same
him.
generation.
No, but what I mean, and I didn't know him neither, at that point, because I'm not a tennis person. Let's say I never played tennis. In my entire life. Never. I started with paddling when I was 6 in Argentina. And in Argentina it was a famous sport, but it's like 14 hours fly from here, and we speak Spanish, so who would know what padel is about, Mm-hmm. And so now that the sport came to Spain in the beginning because of language reasons, and then in Spain there are many people going on vacations because of weather, and then because they start watching, what is this sport about? It might be for kids, and they say no, but it's not for kids. That you can have fun, and then you bring some of the court to your country, to Sweden, to Denmark, to Holland, to Belgium. It's wow, and now it's just the beginning of what padel is going to do in the next few years. I think.
But we have something in common.
You have something in common?
Yeah, we both started playing our sports with wooden rackets. I read that you started with wooden rackets.
That talks a lot about our age as well. Eh?
Yeah. But it's tough to play tennis with a wooden racket, but padel with a wooden racket?
Yes, well, but you might agree with me, technically, was also changing the sport. Because the portres that we're doing in padel, that you kick the ball out by 3 meter siphons, that the ball rebounds after the smash has been played, the ball goes out by the 3 meters. Before, there wasn't 3 meters, was 1.5 meters. The fence that you see next to, the siphons, wasn't 3 meters, was 1.5.
Okay.
So it was easier.
It was much easier.
But yeah, different.
And people, because
rackets.
we had the concrete walls, people was watching the matches hanging on the fence, and was dangerous.
Yeah.
Was dangerous because sometimes the ball was coming and you try to hit the ball and you hit the elbow of someone who is watching, inside because out the court, because it was a concrete walls, you couldn't see. Now we have glasses that makes much more sense for the audience to allow them to watch.
But because of what Philippe said, that you started both with wooden rackets, where does the name padel come from? Because I read, but then we go centuries back, that when they were on the Pacific and they went from Argentina to Mexico or to Europe, they were also rowing and they used the paddles. No, seriously, the paddle, and with sort of a ball and to kill time, and they played some sort of tennis, padel, centuries ago.
Wow, I'd never heard about this story, man.
I read it in a history book.
Wow, you did
history book.
a big
I read it in a
research.
history book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, actually, the paddle is in English language. You think about paddle, Padel. Yes. Listen to this because this is the real thing.
Okay.
I don't know the other one if it's real as well, but I know this one because it was a discussion in a few years ago. I think it was in 1998 or something like that. Paddle, Paddle. It's a paddle.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's a paddle thing. That in the United States, they use paddle tennis is called the sport. So there are walls. It's like a little tennis court, and there are walls. They serve. They can let the ball rebound off the backward. Yeah. Enrique Corcuera, the inventor of paddle, a guy who died not long ago. Yeah, he's
a Mexican.
a Mexican guy, Enrique Corcuera. In 1969, more or less, this was when the first court was built in Acapulco, and so they they were playing. Sorry, they were playing with paddle rackets, yeah, and so there was let's call it paddle. It was called Padel Corcuera in the beginning because his surname, yeah, Padel Corcuera, and then just became paddle. If you go to Argentina, where it was exported the sport, let's say straight afterwards, you go to the paddle clubs, and it doesn't say paddle, P-A-D-E-L. It says paddle, P-A-D-D-L-E.
Ah yeah.
Paddle, like a paddle thing.
Okay.
But for the pronunciation purposes, the Spanish Ministry of Education and of the writing, whatever, I don't know how to say in English, they decided, because of pronunciation purposes, to change the name of paddle to paddle. Because we pronounce paddle. In Spain, we say paddle. We don't say padel, or that there are some other pronunciation in Sweden, in Denmark. I don't know how you do it here in
Padel.
Padel.
Paddle, good. Other countries they say patel. Because it's a little bit confusion of the pronunciation. But I mean, each country can name it as they want, But paddle is how we say in Spanish. So paddle, if you write paddle in Spanish language, is P-A-D-E-L. That's it. So they say, okay, let's change the name, and they did it. That is why paddle is called paddle and no paddle with double D.
Yeah. Okay. I did some research. Philip also. Now, I read something, and I always thought that Diego Maradona was the most famous Argentinian all over the world.
Yes.
And then I read Mauri Andrini. He is the most famous Argentinian in the world. So you are the most famous Argentinian in the world.
No, man.
I read it, and you must have read it yourself as well. Where does this come from?
That was the guys from France. They did an interview. I don't know. I don't even know. But I read that thing one time, and I wanted to put myself under the water. Man, it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, that was something that the guys from a magazine in France, they wrote something like that, and it was it was a funny story, but not this.
Yeah, but anyway, you have to tell us about your career, because
you started in the same club as maybe the most famous padel player.
Yeah, exactly. You know, in the same city. Imagine I am in the same city from Fernando Velasteguin, that everyone calls him like Bella, because his surname. And actually, we know each other since I was 6. And he was 11 when he started to play. I think, 11 or 10 or 11 in the 90th in Argentina, And actually, I come from the same city, which has 20,000 people, where we were born. In the middle of the cows, horses, dogs, and my family, Bella's family, and some other people. Actually, Bella's mother was my teacher at the school.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So we know, family-wise, we know very well. And of course, and actually, it's something that we're going to talk a little bit, if you want, about what I've done, but whatever, in order to become the head coach of Hello Padel and coming to do these kind of things to countries where Padel is emerging. But, I always say, man, I was world champion, when I was 18, and in juniors. Yeah, so I was the junior world champion at that moment. And the famous guy in my little town was me. Yes? And I always said that I was a very talented player, but like never very professional. Because exactly, because Bella, there was one more player there, but he really did the job. So when the young generation who is starting and who are 16, 14, even 18, I would say. Well, nowadays the sport is becoming more physical, and when you are 18, you got to be already there. But when you are 14, 16, you know, it doesn't really tell that because you are very good, you're going to be a top player. No, at all. I knew so many people, very talented, very amazing players who never reached anything. Then I did a good job. You know, I was competing. I was top 100 like a few years ago before the COVID, when I decided to stop and carry on with the, building a proper academy worldwide. It's taken me, it will take me like 10 more years. But yeah, that was more or less where I started. You know, in Argentina, very far away. We had a very, very, very good coach that I was talking yesterday with, and yeah, did you
practice a lot with Bella when you were younger?
Yeah, well, we were like 20 people playing only, and some of us were a little bit better. Actually, think about, I'm a lefty. Bella has been playing with lefties his entire life. Is where he feels more comfortable.
Maybe?
Well, no, it was my brother. My brother is about 3 years older than me, Bella's age, and they compete sometimes on tournaments. So it's like, for me now, man, and it's a chicken skin. It's like seeing paddle at this stage. Think about, man, it's like time goes so fast. And at our age, we really remember when we were 10. What you used to do, and even more if you did the same thing for your entire life. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I was competing there, I did this, and now when I see what's happening, this podcast, at this place, with these professionals, at this stage, man, if it were a dream, I wouldn't have ever dreamed this stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why some people say, Mauri, what an energies, man. How not to got these emotions behind this? Because, man, this is a present from life. Having this opportunity, I was an ex-professional. I was. I believe I do a good job with my academy, flying to different places. People get to know me. Yeah, but there are many people doing that as well, and there are many people who are doing other jobs and working very hard and having other problems. But I think I got. So that's why I smile every day, perhaps.
Yeah, and also, so you said there were 20 people playing. I also read, you didn't immediately want to become a professional. No, you needed a degree. You wanted to study as well because, it was an uncertain future.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit tricky because it's like when I was, 20 more or less, I decided to go to uni. I wanted to study and I studied communications, public relations. You could tell it comes naturally. It's not something that you can study, but public relations and... Yeah, it really helped me, but not only for what I do and what I have today, but also for life. I was just hitting a ball every day, and it's not bad. It's good. But what else? And I was always looking for something else. So I always say that, I think it was the time of my life when I did the click and I was like, I didn't play anymore. I was just studying. And then I wanted to learn English with my wife. I met Dana. Dana is the manager of the whole academy. You could tell, happy wife, happy life. So she's the manager of the whole academy. And so what happened was that we wanted to learn some English. We came to Europe. We went to London, to England to start. And suddenly I saw a guy with a racket, with a paddle racket, doing holding the racket from the heart of the racket and spinning the racket. And I was like, hey, that's a paddle racket. I came here to learn English. But I thought like, man, I could come back a little bit to play. I was 26 already. It was like 6-7 years. I took my degree in Argentina. Everything was good. Yeah, celebration. I said, man, I didn't learn English at the right time. I want to do it now. So I went to England. And it was there.
This guy changed your life.
Well, yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah. I mean, the guy was walking and I stopped him and I said, man, where is it? No, this is paddle. We play with walls behind. No, I said, man, I know what's that sport about. I played that sport for already, like, let's say, like 15 years or 12 years. Oh, yeah. So I went to the paddle club. All of a sudden, after 3 months, I was number one in the UK. I was 5 years in a row, number one in the UK. I got the spicy part of the life that I wanted to come back to compete. I came back to the tour. Then the other was like, Mauri, you back? And the crazy thing about paddle is that it doesn't matter if you stopped for 3 months, for 6 months, or for 1 year. After 1, 2, 3 matches, your masters have a memory, and it's
like
not
riding
like
a bike.
It's in tennis, Philip. You might agree with me. In tennis, I believe that if you go to the tennis court, if you go to the tennis court, you will still be a very good player. Yeah, but it's going to be harder to beat some under 18 kids who are very fit, because in tennis, the racket is longer, so it's more technical. So that's why if you are not technically correct, you cannot even serve. It's like, and that's why paddle succeeds.
Yeah.
Because when you hit the ball, it's a guy of 67 years old, unfit, and just stays behind, and it's not easy. Lobs, chiquitas, it's like, whoa, man. But so I didn't have to be like very fit in order to come back. I was very experienced.
How old
player.
were you when you
Well,
came
I
back?
was, let's say, 28, 29,
So
something
in
like
tennis,
that.
that's impossible. Eh?
That's probably impossible.
When you just
if you
stay
stop
away
and-
for a couple of years, even after a couple of months, it's difficult to come back. Eh? You've seen it.
Yeah. It's probably more physical than padel.
Exactly, because you have to cover all the angles. The ball comes quick, you go to run quicker. Sometimes in paddle, the ball comes quick, you stay, the ball comes back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So at some point, it's a matter of how. So I read the sport for a long period of time. I live in Barcelona, and in the Catalan circuit, I was then I was competing in the Catalan circuit because the level there is like the pros. And all the players I play against, they say, "Oh man, we play with Mauri, who is already old, but sugar, this match is gonna be long." It's like, oh man, we know we can beat Mauri now because he's older, but we know that he's not gonna lose 6-1, 6-2. No, they know they can beat me, but it's gonna be a long match, and that is a massive step for those who think that paddle is only being aggressive and winning points and going for winners.
much more.
Well,
It's about
being a good
patience,
defense, a good defender, a good game reader. Let's say that you read the game, what's going to happen, how's the opponent's doing, who covers the middle. That makes you a better player.
We're going to talk about that later. First, I want to know, so you went back to the circuit internationally. So how was the circuit organized then when you came back, when you were in your late 20s, in your 30s? Was there prize money? Were there professionals? Was it more amateuristic? How was it?
Regarding that question, well, think about that. I went to Mexico to play the World Championships, and I did how to say it in English, like a raffle that just my parents gave. I was looking for sponsorships in my little town, so I went to the crazy thing, and so all the people were paying €1. Yeah, €1. So I got like 2,000 euros, and then we'd make a raffle of a paddle racket or something like that. But people did it just to help me out, to do the trip and to earn nothing. World champion, nothing, a medal. This is crazy. Think about it, man. We're talking about 20 years ago, 23 years ago. And look now.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about numbers, but yes, some sponsorship is over $1 million a year. That's, man, I mean, sometimes it's like, well, where paddle is going, Well, we don't know. There are many countries who haven't stepped forward yet. I know we're going to talk about that later.
But go on.
I mean, there are countries like everyone is waiting for, or America, or Germany, or what's going to happen with the countries that, the paddle hasn't taken off yet. I always say, man, relax, because with Hello Paddle Academy, man, my academy is, if this already is very hard for me to handle all the coaches and all the trips and so on. I got to really be specific where to go. Imagine in 10 years' time when paddle is in 70 more countries, man. Australia has no clue yet about paddle. There are, 80 courts. I got 80 courts in less than a kilometer from my house.
But they have Pat Rafter.
Pat Rafter is playing.
Yes, he was there last weekend. I saw him in Alicante. I was there. 100%. Ambassadors of the sport, man. It's like you're a well-known ex-tennis player, Belgium playing. You go play paddle, and people will, wow, man, Philip's playing paddle. that's fantastic for the sport. That's why all the pro players, if you, for example, if you see the Instagram or social media from, for example, I don't know, from football players, I don't want to name football players, but let's say a very famous football player and the top players like Belasteguin, Agustin Tapia, they say, oh, thank you very much, thanks for supporting, because they know that, we need those, we need Messi to play some paddle and to appear on social media as well. So then in Thailand, in China, in Japan, in all the countries where paddle is already started, but will be 3 times bigger, just because it's crazy at some point, that this social media thing makes, it's happening to me here in Belgium. It's crazy. I mean, I love it. It's very good because I feel the recognition from people. But man, yesterday we were with Vincent. We're walking around and we had to stop it took me like 45 minutes to arrive here. There were some people, my coach, hey, Mauri, my coach, hey. I was like, wow.
That's
I didn't expect
that. Star in Belgium.
I didn't expect that much from the Flemish people all here. It's fantastic.
You're commentating as well the Hexagon Cup in London.
Yes,
that's another thing they set up to make it more popular, the sport.
Yeah, well, it's a different way of setting up. Before used to be World Padel Tour. The World Padel Tour was the circuit, I believe, who made the sport bigger. But as everything in life, when you make something bigger, then other things started happening. We cannot start in details, but at some point the players wanted to change somehow. So and one of the main things was that they couldn't do any other thing. Like, for example, if it was the event in Brussels, Premier Padel, different level, P2, everyone coming, you want to contract Arturo Coelho because you like his kick smash, and you want him to come in a month, he couldn't do it. Or you wanted him to come in January, he couldn't do it. Before the event, you cannot go. It's like, man, because of the tournament was here. So the promoter has the right that not everyone in the whole region sees any of the top players until the event happens, which at some point makes sense if you're a private company, but for the players wasn't fair enough because somehow, about the sponsorships, no, we can have one beer, the other beer, but the circuit owns the beer, so we cannot have the other beer, and it's like, so there were some little things that they wanted to change, and they did it. And one of the things was, as well, that they couldn't play any other tournament. You play only for this circuit. And so there was no chance for people like Hexagon Cup, that was in Madrid, wasn't in London, was in Madrid, the Hexagon Cup this year. That man is the people from Formula E, the electronic Formula 1 cars, It's very professional people. How not to let that people in? How not to let ex-professional tennis player and podcast makers to do these jobs in this place, So since then, this kind of events happen. The Pro Padel League in America, the Reserve Padel in America, the Hexagon Cup, these kind of events that share perhaps a lot of money, but if they want to spend it and they got the money to share it for the players, is better. At some point, I think about this kind of, just to change a little bit the topic, but in terms of the prize money that the players at the moment, the prize money of the tournament, I think, is fair enough, but sometimes sponsorships-wise, is above from where paddle is at the moment.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because what's exactly the next topic?
No. I just want to say, when you're talking about prize money, we all know when you lose in the first round of the Masters 1000 in Madrid right now, in tennis, you lose in the first round, you get as much as the champions here.
Yeah.
So,
there's the difference. But there's the difference. Do you know how many tennis courts there are in America?
A lot.
It's 10 times more than all the paddle courts in the world. Only in America. So, it's more than they, at some point it's like, but it's growing. And it's good. So what I mean is that the prize money for Premier Padel, and good news that all men and women have the same prize money, is everything is going slightly in a better way. But sponsorship-wise, it's like going higher, much higher than before the COVID. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you numbers, but let's say that before players in 2017, 2018, 2019, perhaps a contract from a top 10 player was 140, 160,000 euros a year. And now it's over 1 million. It's almost 10 more times in
because of
less
the
than 4
sponsorships.
years. No, because the sales. I mean, if you put this ball here and you sell 1 million balls, I give you 10,000. You sell 35 million balls, I give you 55,000.
Yeah.
You know, it's, but so I think that the brands are doing an effort. Yeah, of course they might be earning money, but they're doing an effort in order to keep the players wherever they want to be. Yeah, but I think padel will still grow more, and players will have to keep more or less that sponsorships money for a few years because they have already reached, I believe, the sponsorship money that they should perhaps in 3 years' time, not today.
They are on the limit.
This is they are a little bit above. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. Okay. But I think that the good news is that there is much more to grow with this fantastic sport.
But anyway, we're talking about the World Padel Tour, now the Premium Padel Tour. It's made a big change. It's brought the sports to a totally different level.
100%. 100%. That's why now there are other professionals from other sports that, you know, we shouldn't underestimate. Man, we are paddle. We are very little. We are very little. I was lucky enough to meet Jonas Björkman one day in London, and he said, he wanted to have a lesson with me. You know, I went to do a little lesson, and then at the end, that was like, let's say Thursday. And on Monday, I had been at the Wimbledon stadium with my wife, walking around. It was raining. Man, it was very bad. The queue was 1.5 hours. It was disgusting the day. It was the first day of the tournament. I didn't see any players. I was like, oh. So I left, you know, all good. One day at Wimbledon, nice. So on Wednesday, I had the lesson with Jonas Björkman. And then, you know, at the end of the lesson, Mauri, he said, Mauri, I play a little exhibition tomorrow. Would you like to come to see that? And I was like, the queue again? And he said, no, but like, as my guest. And I was like, and one of the guys who was an ex-pro player from the UK, he saw me, he said, man, he's inviting you as your guest. And I was like, and I've been as a guest at the World Padel Tour many times, and there is no massive difference, you know. I said, man, at Wimbledon is.
There's a difference.
They picked me up. I went through the stadium, through a special car park. Djokovic there, Andy Murray, Shakira, the house Beyonce, the husband of Beyonce that I didn't know who he was, and I think he was more famous than Beyonce herself. The rocker player, I don't know.
Yeah.
How is
it? Come on.
His
who's the guy again?
His name. Well, anyways,
I forgot.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. That guy was there, and I was like, man, look at Beyonce. I said, I know Jay-Z, and they said, who is Jay-Z? and the players launch and everything. Nah, man. I mean, there is no comparison. Well, now we are step by step going there. Do you think you can do a US Open in a place like this? For example?
No.
I would say it's impossible. But for paddle, it's more than, it's more than enough. It's very good.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think it's, tennis, is the grandfather. People say, no, paddle is the father of tennis. Tennis is the grandfather of paddle. And even though we don't belong to tennis, it's complete another sport. Mm-hmm. Technically, tactically, mentally. The doubles looks perhaps a little bit close, but nothing to do with tennis. That's why tennis players come to play paddle. They enjoy and when they want to get better, it's like, man, I don't know what to do.
No.
I don't know what to do as well, because your decision making is not correct. Your shots are correct, but they are not efficient enough to make the point. So you're playing against me, and I will play backward pose, double rebound, and a lob again, and a lob again, and they will say, man, so what do I do now? You're over. When you play with someone above your level, you don't know what to do. And that takes 3 years to understand. the process.
3 more years.
Yeah,
Jesus,
no.
Dirk.
You know, because the decision making.
But he's
is
improving.
harder.
He's improving fast.
But it depends which kind of tennis player you were at some point. But the thing is that tennis players, man, in order to win the point, you have to hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
There is no other because there is no walls.
And you have to make the point, and then padel,
You can wait.
you can wait.
You can win the point from the back.
Yeah.
You can win the point by defending until the others make a mistake with a bandeja or trying to hit the smash and they hit the ball out of the
But it's
to the net.
changing, eh? It's also changing, eh?
At the pro level,
At the pro level,
Yeah.
it's changing. It's becoming more athletic. It's becoming
explosive.
at the pro
athletic.
level.
Yeah.
Don't confuse me
No,
with the people, please, because then I'm in a lesson and they come from Qatar, to my academy in Barcelona and they say, "Hi, Mauri, listen, hello, coach. How are you doing? Listen, I want to kick the kick smash. I want to kick por tres. And I say, yeah, well, did you see Tapia? And I'm like, yeah, I saw Tapia. What do you want? So, well, I want to kick like him. And I said, well, just to let you know, I was
In
top
10
10 in the
years'
world.
time.
I also want it. Bella was top 10 in the world. He also wants it. We cannot. There are only few people in the world who can do such a thing. And if you have a powerful smash, for example, then you want to volley like Sanjo. And then if you volley like Sanjo, you want to play chiquitas like a Chingoto. And it's like, but the spectacular thing about the sport of paddle, and I think that what make it grow a lot, is two things. The kick por tres, that you can run out of the court and carry on playing the point, is like, wow.
Yeah.
You can hit the ball to the net and the ball bounces and hit the ball back and it's like, wow. It's very American dream. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the COVID. These two things made and will be the game changers for the sport of paddle. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. What are the biggest problems at this moment for padel to grow more? What are the difficulties that you encounter every day?
I think when it's like if you have a company and you make 2 euros a day, and then the company is making 6 euros a day, and then 8.50, and then 11, and then 11.50, and then 11.75. It's like you are like there are no problems. I wouldn't call them problems. But for example, issues.
Yeah.
We were talking
Growth
and discussing with the Flemish Federation some stuff regarding the juniors, the kids, the boys and the girls. That there are more boys than girls. Why that happens? And we were with some friends of mine who are working in other country, and they were like, in our country the same thing happens. And I tell you guys, in Spain also happens. So it's not something that comes from here. But the thing is, what I say is that at some point is like, be ready. So when we are wherever you want to be, you're ready to act. Because now we have 700 kids who want to compete and play every weekend. Okay, let's make a circuit. No, you have to have it done already. You have to have done everything in order to say, hey, listen, by 2026, by January 2026, we're going to launch this. How is going to be organized? Who is going to be the responsible? How is going to create the app so then you can focus just on the kids.
Anticipate.
At some point anticipating and using the people that you already have to work on things that then they will manage, but just by keeping an eye because you are with the kids. But it's my opinion and the experience I had with other things. But I think that each country will find their own way. Yesterday, I received, because the guys from the Swiss Federation, and I collaborate with as well, in Switzerland, they sent me a message. Mauri, I saw that you are there. And ask these questions to the Flemish Federation. And I was like, man, why don't you call them that you call me in order to be your... Man, call them and talk to them about these things. But perhaps, because I always say, when I do the course for the coaches, I got 20 coaches, and I always say, man, imagine you can be my student. That you come Tuesday morning, you come Friday afternoon, he comes Saturday morning. You don't know each other. But perhaps you're a photographer and you're getting married. So it's me, the one who has to connect you. I got to be awake all the time, even though it's not part of my business. But it's part of what I do for the sport of paddle. That's my part. That's I think is my responsibility. there are not many ex-professional players who speak fluent English. I was lucky enough to have a wife who is a maritime lawyer, and now she's the manager of the academy. Can you imagine? So she left all her career as a maritime law, that they can earn a lot of money, to come and work together aside of the academy and leading all the coaches and the training sessions in Barcelona, the courses. So I got a little bit lost because I remember.
We were talking about the growth issues.
Yes.
And how to
exactly.
anticipate.
So what I wanted to tell you is that, for example, that this thing I named, that you're a photographer and you want to get married, and I got to be, this is the same thing. If I go to Switzerland and they ask me about, Mauri, I said, man, listen, talk to Vincent that he knows about some stuff, or talk to Christophe that he is in charge of this, because they will not know each other.
Yeah.
But I know them. It's my responsibility to do it. As I told you, because there are not many ex-professional players who can speak fluent English and who have that experience. That's why the circuits, they want me as a commentator. First, because I talk a lot, I know. But secondly, because I got experience and knowledge of who Bela Steguin used to play with when he was 17. How was, that people don't know about who was Mati Diaz or Gordo Gutierrez, or, man, they were the guys who made paddle happen. Not Tapia. Eh? No, Agustin Tapia wasn't. Arturo Coelho wasn't.
No.
No. They were players, but now they're at the future. And so when I see the match that we saw yesterday, Mike Yanguas, Javi Garrido, Tapia, and Arturo Coelho, is like, wow, the future now. And when I see that match, I am like, wow. But it's harder for me now, from the coaching point of view, to tell people that that's not what you play. Because if you don't drive Mika Hakkinen's car at the speed that he does, why would you like to hit the ball as Coelho does? So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They are 7.5 hours a day thinking on paddle, playing paddle, physiotherapists, nutritionists, since they were 7 years old. How old are you? 27. You're late.
Yeah, but you can learn some things just by watching, but you have to know where your limit is and what you can do and not do.
100%. But the thing is that you got to know yourself.
Yes.
Which shot do you have similar, and how much power you can create? And why don't you train chiquitas? Why don't you train second serve in paddle? Why don't you train the lob in parallel? There are different kind of lobs. Quick lob, high lob, depending who you're playing against. They play nice vivora, like they move the wrist, play high lobs, and let's see if they can move the wrist. These kind of things people don't train. That's why I got the information. That's my business. Exactly. But that's why I'm coaching coaches, to show them, guys, listen, there is a massive work to do. I will not do it on my own, and the federation do it on their own. They need more in order to become other people champions. Not only Spain or Argentina. I want a Belgium, guy, well, not winning number one in the world. I want a Argentinian one. No, but man, being in the top 10 in 5 years, it's going to be a hard job, very hard job.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about that, because talking about the popularity, okay, when I go here in the streets of Brussels and then I ask, give me 3 players out in the top 10 of tennis. No problem at all.
Easy.
But when you talk about padel, we
sorry,
talk about
padel? You said padel or padel?
We say
like,
padel.
No, it's like, people are asking around.
No, but the thing is, when you ask, can they name one top player? No. So how can we change this? And also about world rankings. Right now, I looked it up. We have 4 Italians. They're doing a good job.
What do you mean?
3 Brazilians.
Top 100, yeah?
Top 100, top
okay,
100
okay.
in the men's. 4 Italians, 3 Brazilians, 1 Swede, and all the other players are from Argentina and Spain. How can we change that? Because that's how sport grows, of course.
I think it's a matter of time. Time heals everything. I heard one time, I think it was one of the very famous actor. I don't remember. I think wasn't Robin Williams, but someone like that. It was. He said, "I would have loved to know that these two shall pass." Have you heard that one? I would have loved to know. He said, at my age, I would have loved to know that these two shall pass. You're feeling very sad. You're feeling very bad. You didn't win today, and you're feeling like this. These two shall pass.
The feeling will pass.
You're feeling very good. You're feeling that you are the one in the world. These two shall pass. So at some point, it's like, padel will not grow as it is doing now every year. Hopefully for the next 5 years, I think it will. But at some point, man, it's life. At some point, it has to balance and to, you know.
And steps are being taken. Hey, you're here to work with the Flemish Federation. So because, in the past, we saw that, hey, you started playing padel after your career. Now it's different. I know Vincent de Decker, who works with the Flemish Federation. Yeah, okay. He's teaching the young kids from the age of 5, 6, and
there we go.
That's where it starts.
That's exactly. It's where it started. When do you think that Agustin Tapia started to play padel? When do you think I started to play padel? When did you start to play tennis? When you were 21?
No, 6 years old.
The same as me. Man, well done.
Thank you.
We did a good job. Yeah. So I think it's that there is a part of the life where you have to enjoy the sport. You are like very open to have fun. That's why if you go the kids of 12 years old and you go, no, don't do this, don't do that. No, that's simple. You cannot do this. Man, well, because winning does not necessarily tell you that you will carry on playing. Enjoying does.
Absolutely.
So take the enjoying first. Sorry for doing this with the microphone. I was thick. But you know, sometimes I see the coaches like, no, that is not good. But man, relax and play a bandeja. Relax and play a bandeja. Relax, don't, you know? So that the top players from other countries will come because padel is growing. It's impossible that doesn't happen. It will be a Belgian top player, top 50 in 5 years' time, for sure. It's impossible not to have it. Okay. It's I know, and I know the kids here, and I know the level they are. So I know if they carry on playing, but from 100 of them, 3, perhaps if we are lucky, will reach like a higher level that we carry on because it's very tough. As I told you guys, I was world champion when I was under 18, and Bela was in the same city I was, and he was in the, and look at that, 16 years, #1 in the world, the legend of the legends. From the same city I was, but everyone says, man, you can be 5 years #1 in the UK, but never #1 in your little town in Argentina. Oh, Bela, you had to work born there, man.
Yeah, but you see, sorry. Flip.
So what do you think about the evolution of the sport? Like Bela, he plays like a different kind of padel than the guys who play now. Very athletic, very explosive, kicking the balls out of cage and. So we have to change balls?
Have changed. No, balls have changed. They have changed already.
Okay.
But that's why, I mean, if you change the ball, but Bela has been playing bandejas for 17 and a half years, how can he change his technique now to go? Imagine now they have to serve in tennis with a bandeja, not with a kick smash, let's say. No, you got to play bandeja when you serve. It's more effective. How many of the players will be able to perform a proper bandeja instead? No, it's hard. So same thing happened in padel. They changed the thickness of the glass, so make it more bouncy, or the surface, more sand, less sand, the balls, the rackets, the evolution was massive. So well done to these kind of players like Bela, Lamperti, that they adapted very much to the new conditions. Bela used to play with a wooden racket as well.
Oh, he did?
So, yeah, we started in the same age. So what I mean is that well done for them, but yes, the next generation is more watchable nowadays. Exactly, it's like wow. I think, you know, like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you both paid whichever money to go and watch Bela. Today, that person is not Bela. You know, unfortunately for me, because you know he's a friend of mine, and but it's life. And he understands it, and injuries come, and even though when he's on court, he feels that it's like, man, how do I finish this point? And it's Coelho there in front of him. Arturo Coelho is like an octopus in front of you that he opens the hand and he touches one fence and the other fence is massive, and say, what shall I do? Well, lose. Usually, it's what happens. But this is life, you know. And I think that there is a part of your life that you become more mature, you know, that makes you understand. This is, you know, part of the game.
Talking about the evolution that you see, you talk about Belgium, but you go to many European countries. Do you see in Italy, in Spain, not in Spain, of course.
Yeah, in Spain,
France,
yes.
In Switzerland, in Holland, you see the same type of evolution?
Growth.
growth?
I think, for example, your neighbors here, Holland, Belgium, are doing an amazing job. I think that at some point, I wouldn't say that you're like leading on the level, but because France is also doing a very good job. But the thing is that France is very big, and because it's very big, they got, let's say, more or less. I wouldn't say they got more courts than what you have in Belgium. In Belgium, you might have around 1,300 courts ish, more or less. And if you calculate Holland and Belgium, it will be a
percentage-wise.
Yeah, percentage-wise, man, you go courts like every 15, 20 minutes. You drive 15 minutes, and in France, you got to drive a little bit longer. Or you are in a city where it's a very paddle city, that there are all the courts nearby. But if you're going to play a tournament against, you got to go 3.5 hours. That, so, but there are very good players because in the south is Barcelona, where I live, in the south of France, it's very close to Barcelona. So Perpignan, Lyon, so they are 3, 4, 5 hours trip, and you are in the Mecca of paddle. It's like, wow. So it's like if you want to learn Taekwondo and you live next to Japan or next to China, it's like, man, you are in the place where you have to be. But I've seen, I remember here, Jeremy Gala, a friend of mine, he went to Spain for 1 year to learn properly how to. I mean,
There's a few young Belgian players who go to Spain.
Also, exactly, and that makes a difference nowadays. Just because, not because the coaches are better, we got better experience. That's the only difference. And like the federation here, man, when they call me, I very respect their job, because it's not easy to say, well, we got to bring someone because they are more experienced. Yes, but man, I go an online platform where people subscribe to watch pro videos about it, and I cannot manage it. I need to contract people who know about that, and then people who know about better and how to do podcasts or things, or how to show and say, Mauri, no, don't open your racket like this because in the camera it doesn't appear. So move and say, okay. So I think it's a part of the development. You want to learn, try to learn from the best, and then try to make it better. Yeah? So you become number one. Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast for more than a year now. Lots of times about tennis. Now we've done a couple of about padel. It's the first time that we got so many questions from our viewers and listeners. Hey, we get some from our people who watch our podcast about tennis, but there were really, I don't say we were bombarded, but there were quite a few, Philippe?
Yeah, there were a lot of questions. That shows how popular padel is becoming in Belgium.
Yes, or as well the little information they have. If you say, about tennis, what would you ask? About football? Yeah, but I more or less know, because it's on the news every single day.
That's true.
On the news, padel in Belgium might be this weekend.
Yeah, just
in a month's time, no one hears about this on the TV in Belgium. Then you got to follow all the YouTube, all the whatever thing, that you follow paddle. But if you're a paddle player, so if you go, let's say, 30,000 players, active players in Belgium, how you can make it grow bigger? Well, with the famous people who play, who appear on the TV, who showed on an Instagram, Cristiano Ronaldo playing paddle. And so, what? Yeah. Man, there's 500 million people watching someone hitting the ball very bad, but hitting the ball.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Exactly. So because, as I tell you before, now there are the people, but this weekend perhaps we're gonna get 10,000 more players or 3,000 more players or whatever, to go and practice. What that thing I saw in the cage, I go to play, and then perhaps 10% of them like it. We got 50 more players in the country. Great, active players. So. But next weekend there is nothing else, and in 2 weeks there is nothing else, and a month there is no. Then you keep those 30 people. Yeah. But to make 50,000 people in the 2 years' time, you need like this kind of event. Vincent has done an amazing job together with Premier Padel, and activating things for the federation, doing a little junior thing, and these things get people to know what the sport about, and then it's how you get more people, and then the percentage of who can become better is bigger. Because from 100, perhaps one is good. From 1,000, 10. From 10,000, 100. Sorry about talking.
No, don't worry. Did you know that we've already been talking for 15 minutes? Yeah, I'm here to be I try to keep it a little bit under control. We could go on for hours, but we only have, because after this podcast, you're going to give some sessions with the talented young players.
Very looking forward to it.
But we have a lot of recreational players. And Philippe, they had lots of questions. So maybe now is the moment to give some of the questions and that Mauri can answer them.
I will try to do a
short
resume.
answer if possible.
Quick, like yes, no.
So the first question is, what's the difference between a good and a great player?
The decision making.
Decision making?
Easy. Decision making. The ball is coming very difficult, don't play a lob. The ball is coming very difficult, don't play chiquita. The ball comes very difficult, don't play a winner. The ball comes easy, go for a winner, but you also have two other shots, the chiquita and the lob. Because in padel there are three barriers: the net, the player, the back wall. Which, if you want to miss a shot, where do you want to miss a shot? On the player. If you miss to the net, it's a very bad unforced error. If you miss to the back goal, it's a little bit less. Yeah, but if you miss to the player, because the player beat you because it's better, not because you lose. There's a massive difference between losing and the opponents beat you. No, my opponents beat me today because they are better. I lost because I did very bad mentally, decision making. So decision making will make the player better.
Good answer.
From the top players, who has the best Vibora, who has the best bandeja?
Vibora and bandeja. Man, the thing is that at the pro level, there are not many bandejas anymore. No, it's a kind of bande vibora. It's like, Dineno is playing a bande vibora, and he was a bandeja player his entire life. And now he's like getting closer to the ball in order to give more side spin to the shot. And so they are becoming a little bit more vibora players. But there are some players like, Sancho Gutierrez. Man, that vibora, I tell you because I was playing against him. And your elbow, you cannot keep... if you play a vibora, you try to close the angle, because if you let the ball in to the back wall and the vibora, vibora means snake. And because the double rebound and the speed that the ball brings makes the ball to do this after the double rebound.
Okay.
But man, if you let Sancho's vibora or a good vibora to go into double glass, then you don't reach it. So you have to reach it as a volley. Somehow you go to step forward and reach it as a volley. But when you block some of viboras like Sancho, your elbow
you feel it.
goes up, and it's a good elbow, and I could not manage it. Boom! So your elbow goes up, and then they come forward. Por cuatro.
Mauri, that Philip is a visionary. He writes a column about padel also.
Good.
It's not bandeja, but it is. What's the title of your podcast?
Viva Vibora. Viva Vibora.
Viva Vibora.
Yeah.
for his column. So
Very
that's
good,
why
man.
he's a
Viva
visionary.
Vibora.
He's a visionary as well.
My good.
Okay. Which tactics should you use against a lefty player? And you are a lefty player.
I'm a lefty player. Well, it's a little bit harder just because we face the court. We face the court forward. I see everything. So so it will be more like to play the lobs from the left side player to the lefty, like in parallel. Because if you play the ball cross court, as I'm facing the court forward, I might go for like a different kind of spins, or I can decide to go either down the line or cross court with the rulo, that we call it rulo, which is like a kick bandeja. I call it kick bandeja because the aiming of that shot is to keep the net position, not to win. The same aiming as the bandeja. You try to play the bandeja if it's far away from you, deeper, so you can reach the net position, and if the ball comes to your non-playing shoulder, you kick the ball in order to reach the net position. So the concept is the same. That's why I call it bandeja, kick bandeja. So it's like the concept is the same, so people remember quicker. Say ruler, what shall I do with the ruler? It's the same aiming, keeping the net position. So, how was your question?
That was how you should play against a lefty player.
That's what I mean. If the lob comes from cross court to a lefty player, we're going to be able to manage all this. But if the ball comes from parallel, it's a little different story.
Okay.
It's a little different story. It's not. The lefty players. The difference is when we are at the net, not when we are at the back. So be a little bit more careful when you are defending against lefty players, but not when you are at the back. Don't think, no, I'm not going to play with the forehand because to the middle no, play to the middle as well, because
for the back they cannot
usually lefty players were very good at the net and a little bit weaker at the back. Have a look on Coelho. That's why he returns and step forward.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be at the back. Number one in the world.
That's the next question. Why are Coelho, Tapia the best players? Why are they number one in the world?
Because they are the fittest pair, I'm not telling you that, but they're not the fittest, but they're very fit. Yeah, same as Galan, LeBron, but there are not many like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about other players, but the other players are already a little bit late on the fitness side of the sport.
Work to be done.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, work to be done.
There is a work to be done, but they're late. It's like if you want to start now playing paddle to be number 10 in the world, you are late, and you got to know that. And there are some players who know already that they are late to be with the fitness of Ale Galan. Or it's late, man. You should have started 10 years ago. When paddle, there was Christian Gutierrez, was a guy, man, it's 100 kilograms, and it was winning World Padel Tour events. The hand of God, man, like the Maradona one, same thing from this guy, man, unbelievable. He was playing the World Championships in senior the other day in Alicante. I saw him there. And man, Christian Gutierrez was one of the best players in the world. At some matches playing against Bella, like doing a lesson to Bella. I'm not kidding you. Bella said, man, I play against Christian Gutierrez, and it's like he's teaching me a lesson. But padel is playing doubles. So Bella had always a great partner next to him and to sort it out, and very stiff. So nowadays, those players who are a little bit older, that they didn't think on the fitness before, they are being a little bit away. So that's why Lamperti was super happy this weekend, because he reached the quarterfinals.
And he had 2 match points against Coyle Tapia.
And they got these 2 match points against these players, So,
but what I heard also this week was that Coyle Tapia had a big fight after their second round. There was a lot of frustration and anger between them, and tension that lingered on the next day in the practice.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about padel. You're always 2 on the court, and there's a partnership, and people don't know there are emotions and human relations, and they only see the vamos and the fist bumping and chest bumping and spectacular points, but underneath there could be a lot of emotions and things happening, and you don't know as a public. And that's what the great players can.
They have to manage it.
They manage it, and they can do it like they did this
100%.
week.
100% agree. And what you see is 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
Come on Tuesday morning to Barcelona and see them training, and then the stretching, and then going to share the same hotel, share the flights, share the. They spend much more time with the partner than with the girlfriends or family, or, but much more time. No, a little bit more time, much more time. And even though now that they play in Venezuela, after Venezuela, Chile, Qatar, Mexico, Brussels.
Next week, Seville?
There's Seville, well, closer, at least, is a 1 hour flight. Well,
okay.
But, no delay, no jet lag, no, imagine the jet lag for Tapia. Agustin Tapia, he can recover the jet lag perhaps in 1 day. And for Bella, it could take 4, but no, because it's life, one thing is being 23 and the other thing is being 44.
Yeah. But those are details that count.
At this level,
it's a partnership.
At this level,
because in tennis, you're an individual player, and the stars are individual human beings.
And here you talk about
lose, that's their fault. But here you're in a partnership.
Yesterday when we did this thing with the Flemish Federation with all the coaches, I was talking about this. Mainly, I said, guys, I showed exercises and what to do and what not to do, and I said, guys, why I put them to play together? No one did the answer. No, it's no, because they can run less. No, because I said, no, man, because padel is in doubles. Make all your exercises. Don't have one-to-one lessons. One-to-one lessons in padel is poor. It's not bad to have, if it's not good to have a one-to-one lessons if you also have a group lessons. One-to-one lesson on Monday. Because I want to improve my split step when I approach to the net, because I'm always late and I miss the first volley or the bandeja. Good. And then I play on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then on Monday I come again on my own. And then when you play 100 shots on your own, then when you go on court, if you're better, they will play the shot to your partner. And then you will get frustrated. So that's because you are not training as you play. How many people, say, man, I train very good, man. But when I go to play very bad. No, you don't play very bad. You don't train very good. And it's crazy, but I promise you. And this is the kind of information that we have to apply to the coaches in order to create coaches, to create players. And that's the future.
Yeah, that's a great lesson.
which are the 3 most important strokes you should learn first when you're starting padel?
To relax. That's the first the stroke. The first.
Be calm.
The first shot. Yeah, the first shot is to relax a little bit. Relax and play a bandeja. Don't make it. Yeah, don't stress yourself out. I will talk about the shots, but that's the first thing. Like, relax, play from the back. Give yourself more time for the coming ball. People want to go to the net. I mean, at the net is more difficult to play because you got to be quicker and you got to decide quicker. And usually, the shorter the time available to decide something. That's why accident, the shorter the time available to decide, the worse the decision. The more time available, you say, but this thing that I will take this road. I will go the other way around. I will go to doctor because I got a little pain. But you broke your old shoulder, and then when do you go to doctor when you have a pain in your teeth? You're the dentist. Oh man, I cannot even talk. Then you go to dentist. Oh man, why you didn't come 6 months ago? Because it was starting. Well, this is the same thing. Well, but relax and play a bandeja. So the shots that create angles. These are the shots that will give you a massive difference and to decide properly. As I told you before, the lob, the chiquita, are 2 shots that with the same preparation of the shot, you don't need to play this for a lob because you have to prepare lower. The chiquita is a short shot that you play down to your opponent's feet in order that or you either reach the net to go for a winner or whatever, or at least to approach to the net, or you can stay back. But at least you are putting your opponents in a little game situation which is not comfortable, yeah? So it's a good shot. So one shot is close to the net, and the other shot is close to the back wall. So you are creating, with the same preparation of the shot, you can either play the chiquita or the lob. 2 very different shots for the player who is at the net. So the chiquita, the lob, and when you're at the net, the volleys are the shots that you play the most. So practice the volleys and the bandejas to sort it out, those situations when your opponents play a good lob, that you can still keep more or less the net position by playing a shot which is safe and placement. Don't train always the vivoras or kick smash or hit the ball harder because it's not always a good option. I always say that the bandeja is always a good option. The ball is short. I will go for a quick smash and I will smash it, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Bandeja is a good option. The vivor is coming. I will go for a vivor. I'm a little bit. Today I'm not feeling 100% good. And we're losing 4-1. It's a tie break. Bandeja is always a good option.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Yes?
I need it for my game.
The ball is coming for a bandeja. It's a deep shot. I go for a kick smash. The ball doesn't go out. You lose the point. It's not a good option always to hit the smash or to hit the vivora. That's why decision making is important.
Okay. 2 last questions. If you play with a lefty player, how do you decide who takes the ball in the middle?
Man, how many lefty players there are here in Belgium, man?
There are.
There are many, yeah? Because it's like, man, we should have a look on that, which is the population. I think in Spain is 2.4% or something like that, or 4.2 or something like that. But man, here might be like 50-50. I mean, everyone is asking how to play against a lefty.
Not 90, but...
Or is the same guy who plays every Tuesday night against a lefty.
Probably.
And he's fed up of losing.
And now he wants,
he doesn't know what to do.
Solutions.
Yeah, well, or he's playing with a lefty player. He doesn't know who covers the middle. Well, usually it's a rule. Guys, this is how to create clever people on court. Yeah, it doesn't mean that clever means that someone who is having a good business. No, you can find a clever person by playing. In 2 minutes, I see someone as I could tell that is a clever, just because he played a lob when others would have gone for a winner or for a down shot. And it's not with the lefty or right-handed. With the lefty, even more because covers the middle with the forehand side. So when the ball is coming cross-court, it's more likely the player who is cross-court at the net will cover the middle with the forehand. Yes, it's a standard thing. But let's say that the cross-court player always hits the ball very cross-court. Has naturally, is a right-handed, let's say Dineno or Chingoto, that they like playing those shots as well cross-court, like a little side spin, top spin shot with the forehand behind. You follow me? Yeah? Cross-court. So then it's like, man, if I'm Arturo Coelho, I say, Agustin Tapia, listen, man, help me out a little bit in the middle, because naturally the right side player is hitting many shots cross court. It's more natural for him hitting cross court than down the line. So during the match, you got to know, hey man, listen, this player is serving every single time to the middle. I'm uncomfortable there. So don't stay that close to the side wall for return. Go more to the middle, because that match or that opponent is more naturally what he does, hitting the ball to the middle. So you go and cover the middle. Because there are some rules, like, for example, if I serve, you are at the net and I will cover the middle cross court. Good. But there are some times, and in every single match, there are different game situations. You're playing against different opponents. That's why we were talking with Vincent today from the Federation. I said, man, when we teach the kids, I don't like being outside the court and you know, sit, and the kids are waiting to be 2-1 to go for change overs, you know, and say, oh, coach, what do you think? No, man, you sort it out by yourself. It's like, welcome to life. No one is going to tell you what you have to do when you're 27, unless you're still a kid. So that's what I said to Vincent. I said, man, we got to try for the future to let those kids to sort it out by themselves. They're fighting. Oh man, you sort it out. I don't know. And you sort it out next week. You sort it out after the match, or you sort it out now if you want to win. You know, because otherwise we would, you know, hey, listen, no, this and that, and now, hey, this. You got to find out that you have to play the lobs to that player whose bandeja is weaker than that player because he's smashing all the time. You have to find out that today your lob is not correct. Play down, but don't play winners. Play just down. Don't play lobs because the roof is not that high. So you got to find out. I will not be next to you telling you every single day, hey, be careful, don't drink this, do that. No. That's you.
You have to find
your
your own solutions.
But this is a coaching, is a guide as well, like parents do.
The last question is from a reader or listener who is very well informed, because he says that Mauri is a top coach, top player, and also a top cocktail shaker.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
He wants a demonstration.
Really? He wants a demonstration? Well, there is no bottles here.
Yeah, no,
well, you know, I was when I
should
was
have been prepared.
when I was
anticipate.
when I was studying my university, it wasn't enough. I wanted to do something else. And one day I was with my brother walking in La Plata city. La Plata is where some of the top players as well come from. It's close to Buenos Aires, where I did my degree. So I was walking and I saw guys like practicing with like bottles, with like a plastic bottle. And I was like, but they might be the guys who are on the corner doing the fancy thing. And they said the cocktail thing, University of Cocktail. And I was like, wow, that's good. Man, and I don't know, I got the skills with my hands. You know, I got skills. I'm coordinating with skills. So I can play with 4 bottles, but bottles, proper bottles, no plastic bottles.
Okay.
Doing cocktails. And I know a little bit about that stuff because I did, while Mina was at the university, I was doing as well some stuff like that. So I know who was that person, I believe, because one day I came to Belgium.
Oh, yeah?
I did, is or Detlef or Pascal or...
Detlef.
Oh my God.
I knew. No, I will tell you why. I came like a few years ago, man. And I was, we did a clinic, you know. I'm telling you, I came to Belgium many times already. And you know, it was like 10 years ago or 8 years ago. I came to a padel club where the people were starting to play. And it was a very funny time because I was with all of them all day, like 3 days all together. We went for dinner. And the last day, I went behind the bar and, you know, I got a bottle and I started doing it and everyone was like, what is this, you know? And I was like, yeah, man, I used to do bartending stuff when I was in Argentina. Yeah, well, yeah, it's good. It's
Great
good.
story. Yeah.
I got one last question myself.
Yeah.
I saw
absolutely.
Mike Young was this
Yes,
week, and
yes.
he came on court with 3 rackets.
Yes.
I
Good
understand
question.
that in tennis, when the circumstances change, you can change the tension of your strings. But why are the paddle rackets so different that he changed his racket after one game because he was not feeling the ball and he changed his racket? But
it could be a few things. Yeah, it could be a few things. Could be that he does it for a ritual thing, like, you know, when I don't feel good, I blame the racket. Yeah, it could be one, which is acceptable, you know. It could also be that, you know, usually players have 3 rackets that they're used with the same amount of hours. For example, I open 3 rackets and I give one of my rackets to one of the players because the tournament is next week and I only have 1 racket. So I open 2 new rackets and I give the rackets to my sparrings to use the racket because I need the racket is slightly softer, not exactly brand new. That's why even with the balls, they open the balls and you see them hitting the ball to make the ball like, hey, wake up. You know, same thing with the rackets. And they have to play like 2 hours at least and hit some smashes in order that all the fiberglass or the carbon or whatever the racket is made from to wake up as well. And so that's why they bring 3. Also because one of them can break. You know, the rackets break. Yeah, and even at the amount of power they produce in this. Yeah, that usually happens. But but I think that is the main reason. It's not because sometimes players change the rackets. Depending on the weather. For example, next week they're gonna play in Seville. They're not gonna play with the same rackets.
No.
For instance, there you're gonna be 25 more degrees than here, or not 25, but 20 or something like that. So it's very hot. It's warmer, so the rackets become softer. The softer it is, the more power you create. So it's like but the more power, less control. And it's like I want more control. So they might use, or perhaps a complete brand new racket, which is already stiff surface, or brands might do perhaps something special for those kind of different weathers for the pro players. This I think that's more or less the answer for.
Yeah. And I talked to Bram Koenen as well. He's a Belgian champion.
I know.
And I asked him about his experience on this court because he had the wild card and they played in the first round.
Yes.
And he said, I never played on a court like this. It was I needed the first few games. I needed to adapt because they always used to play like in courts and clubs, and now the surroundings,
and the environment, and the pressure,
the pressure and tension. And
I beat one time in a training match Sancho and Maxi Sanchez when they were number ones in the world. Never a chance to get a game if I play against them in the central court with 10,000 people watching. There are many, many things that makes a paddle player a top player. So that's why I say, man, time will heal all the things and will put people where they really should be. You are a very good player. You carry on doing it. You are worried about the fitness, the nutrition. You are a good person. You are comfortable with playing with different people. You can become better because it's not only hitting a good bandeja that will make you a good player. No. Thank you.
It's a combination. Okay. We're already
way over the
long way over the hour, but as I told you, it's not important because it was very interesting. Okay, where will to finish this off? Where will Padel be? Let's say in 5 years' time, because we've seen an explosion. So, what do you think? Where will Padel be?
I think it's a matter of countries where paddle will start growing as well. It's tricky because imagine that, for example, in North America they start building a great circuit for all pro players, and now was the Qatar Sports Investment buying at some point, let's say, the rights of the to make the circuit, but then it could be an American guy, an Australian guy just wanting to develop something better, and then players can play all the. So I think that would be the future, like events like the Hexagon Cup that you named before, other professionals on the TV started helping as well, and that will make that the players, perhaps the Spain is not the Mecca of paddle anymore. Hopefully in 5 years' time. I was talking to the federation. I said, guys, it's the right time now to start developing properly your coaches, because there are no more good coaches in Spain to go abroad. There are no more. We exported everything. All of them are in Dubai, Qatar, America, Sweden, Belgium, Holland. There are no more. I always say, if you're very, very good in what you do or what you have done or whatever, then you keep what you are. Why would you go to, I got offers from Qatar, Dubai, then Belgium or Holland, and I stay where I live because I love what I do and where I live, and I can go to other countries. But there are some people who decide to leave and go to other countries to do their own career abroad. But those, it's not easy to find a coach who speaks fluent English, who knows a lot about paddle, and there are no more. So now there are people who speak English, but the level of coaching is not that good. There are other people who speak fluent English, who are from Sweden, from Belgium, who are very good as well. So start taking those, because those already know how perhaps to make a pro player. We have already here in Belgium very, very, very good players. And they are not living in Spain since they were 6. No, So that is a good signal that perhaps the emerging countries are not emerging anymore. They're already here to stay forever.
So Spain has to watch out.
Yes, be ready. They're coming. They're coming, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, be ready. all the Belgian guys are coming over.
Okay, so if everything is handled well, the only way is up. That's how I see it. Mauri, thank you very much for sharing your time with us. Philippe, we see you, of course, next time. Ik ga afronden in het Nederlands. Voilà, we hebben een fantastische aflevering gehad met Mauri. Onze volgende keer gaan we het weer over tennis hebben. Tot de volgende.